Dr. Miho Kim floated through the corridors of the research vessel, his heart pounding with excitement. For 3 weeks, his team had been studying the strange metal structure they found drifting in deep space. It was old. Very old. The test said it was 340 million years old, which seemed impossible. Miho, you need to see this, Jaiwan's voice crackled through his helmet radio. She was the ship's specialist and she sounded scared. That worried him. He pushed himself toward the central chamber where his team had gathered. Through the observation window he could see rows of large glass tubes. Inside each tube was something that looked almost human but not quite. They were tall with long arms and legs. Their skin had a strange glow to it. Are they alive? Miho asked. Hannah, the team's biologist, checked her scanning equipment. Yes, they're in some kind of sleep. A very deep sleep. Their bodies are perfectly preserved. Commander Day 1 floated beside Miho. The old man had seen many strange things in space, but even he looked nervous. What do we do? Wake them up. We didn't have to decide, Jaiwan said. Look. The tubes were opening on their own. One by one they hissed and released white steam. The beings inside began to move. Their eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the light after millions of years of darkness. Miho felt his mouth go dry. This was first contact. Real first contact with alien life. Everything humanity had dreamed about was happening right now, in this moment. The first being stepped out of its tube. It was nearly 7 feet tall. Its eyes were large and dark, like pools of black water. When it looked at Miho, he felt like it could see right through him. The being's mouth moved. Strange sounds came out. The translation device on Miho's belt worked frantically, trying to understand the alien language. After a few seconds, words appeared on his screen. Thank you. We are grateful. We are the Inheritors. More beings emerged from their tubes. There were perhaps 50 of them in total. They moved slowly, carefully, as if remembering how to use their bodies after such a long sleep. The leader approached Miho. Through the translation device they began to communicate. The being called itself Caliph. It explained that his people had been running away from their dying star system. They put themselves to sleep to survive the long journey through space. They had been drifting for millions of years, hoping someone would find them. You saved us, Caliph said. His voice was strange but somehow gentle. We owe you everything. Over the next few days the Inheritors slowly recovered their strength. They were peaceful and polite. They asked many questions about Earth and humanity. Caliph spent hours talking with Miho, learning about human culture, history, and technology. Your species has built something beautiful, Caliph told Miho one evening. A whole civilization among the stars. We had hoped to find intelligent life, but we never dreamed we would find something so remarkable. Miho felt proud but also uneasy. Something about Caliph's words felt wrong, though he couldn't explain why. The Inheritors seemed to know too much about Earth for beings who had been asleep for so long. They adapted to the ship's gravity too easily. They understood human emotions too well. But Miho pushed these thoughts away. This was the greatest discovery in human history. He was probably just nervous. The ship's commander made the decision to return to Earth immediately. The whole world needed to know about this. The Inheritors agreed happily. They said they had no home anymore and would be grateful for any help humanity could offer. As the research vessel turned toward Earth, Miho watched Caliph through the observation window. The alien stood looking at a picture of Earth on a display screen. He was smiling. That smile made Miho's blood run cold, though he didn't know why. It looked like someone looking at something they owned. Something they had been waiting a very long time to reclaim. The whole world celebrated when the Inheritors arrived on Earth. People lined the streets of every major city. Children waved flags. News reporters called it the most important day in human history. Miho stood on the stage at the United Nations building, watching as world leaders shook hands with Caliph and the other Inheritors. President Yoon Song gave a speech that brought tears to many eyes. Today we welcome our friends from the stars. Today humanity is no longer alone in the universe. Let us build a future together. The Inheritors bowed respectfully. Caliph spoke through the translation device that now worked perfectly. We are honored by your kindness. We have traveled so far and slept so long. To find such a generous species fills our hearts with joy. We wish to repay your kindness with gifts of knowledge. And they kept their promise. Within weeks, the Inheritors began sharing their technology. They taught human doctors how to cure diseases that had killed millions. They showed engineers how to build better power systems that produced clean energy. They helped farmers grow more food with less water and land. Everywhere they went, the Inheritors were treated like heroes. Miho became their main contact with the human government. He spent almost every day with Caliph, helping him understand Earth's politics and culture. One evening, Miho and his friend Taeyang sat in a small restaurant in Seoul. Taeyang worked as an engineer, helping to install the new inheritor technology in power plants. "They're amazing," Taeyang said, drinking his beer. "Their technology is hundreds of years ahead of ours, but they share it freely. They don't want money or power. They just want to help." Miho nodded, but he felt that old uneasiness again. "What do you think they really want?" "What do you mean? Nobody gives away so much for nothing. What are they getting out of this?" Taeyang laughed. "You're too suspicious. Maybe they're just good people. Or good aliens. Whatever." A few days later, Caliph made a formal request to the United Nations. He asked to meet with all the world leaders in a private session. Miho was invited to attend as the official liaison. "We have one request," Caliph said to the assembled leaders. "We have no home. Our world died long ago. We have been wandering in the darkness for millions of years. We see that you are terraforming Mars. You are making it ready for life. Please allow us to settle there. Let us build a home on the red planet." The leaders looked at each other. Mars was still mostly desert and thin air, but humanity had been working on it for decades. In another 50 years it might be livable. "If you allow us to settle on Mars," Caliph continued, "we will speed up the terraforming process. With our technology, Mars can be green and beautiful in just 10 years. A whole new world for both our peoples." The offer seemed too good to refuse. After much debate, the world leaders agreed. The Inheritors could settle on Mars. Construction began immediately on a settlement called New Threshold. Miho visited the Mars construction site 6 months later. He couldn't believe what he saw. Where there had been only red dust and rocks, now water flowed in artificial rivers. Strange plants grew in vast domes. The sky was still thin, but machines were pumping oxygen into the atmosphere day and night. "This is incredible," Miho told Caliph as they walked through the growing settlement. "We have built many homes on many worlds," Caliph replied. "Though we hope this will be our last." That night, unable to sleep, Miho sat in his temporary quarters reviewing old data. He compared the Inheritors' biological information with Earth's records. Something kept bothering him about how well they adapted to Earth. Their bodies handled Earth's gravity perfectly. They breathed Earth's air without any problems. Their sleep cycle matched Earth's 24-hour day exactly. It was almost as if they had evolved on Earth. Miho pulled up more files. He ran secret genetic tests on samples he had collected. The computer worked through the night, comparing inheritor DNA with every species in Earth's database. At dawn, the results appeared on his screen. Miho stared at them, his hands shaking. The Inheritors' DNA contained fragments that matched extinct Earth species from 375 million years ago. Ancient fish, early amphibians, creatures that had lived and died long before dinosaurs existed. The Inheritors weren't from another star system. They were from Earth. They had been from Earth all along. And if they were from Earth, then everything they told humanity was a lie. Miho realized with horror that the Inheritors hadn't come to visit Earth. They had come to take it back. Miho sat in his secret laboratory in Seoul, staring at the genetic test results for the 10th time. His hands trembled as he held the data pad. He had hoped he was wrong, but the evidence was clear. The Inheritors were not aliens from another star. They were from Earth. Hannah entered the lab quietly. She was the only person Miho trusted with this information. Her face was pale as she looked at the screens showing DNA comparisons. "I ran the tests again like you asked," she whispered. "Same results. Their DNA has pieces of ancient Earth life in it. Fish that died out 375 million years ago. Creatures that lived before the dinosaurs. They lied to us," Miho said. "About everything. What do we do?" "I need to talk to Caliph. Face to face. I need to hear the truth from him." That evening, Miho took a shuttle to Mars. He requested a private meeting with Caliph in his quarters at New Threshold. The room was strange and beautiful, with artificial waterfalls and glowing plants that looked nothing like Earth vegetation. Caliph stood by the window looking out at the red landscape. When Miho entered, the tall being turned and smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "You know," Caliph said simply. It was not a question. Miho's throat felt dry. "I know you're from Earth. I know you evolved here. I know everything you told us was a lie." Caliph nodded slowly. "Sit down, Dr. Kim. You deserve to know the truth." Miho sat, his recording device hidden in his jacket pocket. Whatever Caliph said now, the world would hear it. 375 million years ago, Earth belonged to us, Caliph began. We were the first intelligent species on this planet. We lived in the oceans. We built cities under the water. We developed technology and science. We looked up at the stars and dreamed of exploring them. Then what happened? We saw the signs. A great extinction was coming. Asteroids would hit the planet. Volcanoes would erupt. The climate would collapse. We had maybe 5,000 years to prepare. So we built the stasis chambers. We put ourselves to sleep, hoping to survive until the planet healed. Miho felt cold. But you did more than that, didn't you? Kalitha's dark eyes gleamed. We were scientists. We understood genetics. Before we went to sleep, we modified the DNA of many species. We planted the seeds of intelligence in creatures that would survive the extinction. We wanted to make sure that if we died, intelligence would still emerge on Earth someday. You created us, Miho whispered. Humans, you designed us. Not directly. We simply guided evolution. We gave certain animals the potential for intelligence. We made sure mammals would survive and thrive. Over millions of years, nature did the rest. But yes, humanity exists because we chose to create the conditions for your existence. Miho stood up, angry now. So what? You think that gives you the right to take Earth back? Take it back? Kalith laughed softly. Dr. Kim, we never left. This has always been our planet. You are our children, created by our design. A parent doesn't take back their home from their children. They simply return to it. The United Nations will never accept this. Kalith walked to a control panel on the wall. He touched it and holographic displays appeared showing Earth's power grids, weapons systems and communication networks. All of them had red warning symbols. We have been integrating our technology into your systems for 6 months, Kalith said calmly. Every gift we gave you contained hidden control programs. Your nuclear weapons, your satellites, your defense systems, your power plants. We control all of it now. If you try to fight us, we can shut down half your civilization with a single command. Miho felt sick. You planned this from the beginning. We planned this 375 million years ago. We are not conquerors, Dr. Kim. We are landlords returning from a very long vacation. Earth is our inheritance. And you, as our creation, should understand and accept this. Never, Miho said. You don't have a choice, Kalith replied. But don't worry. We don't want to harm humanity. We're offering generous terms. You can keep the moon, Europa, and all the outer colonies. We'll even help you expand to other star systems. But Earth itself belongs to us. Miho left Mars that night, his mind racing with fear and anger. He tried to contact the United Nations immediately, but found that the Inheritors had already taken control of the communication systems. They were preparing to make their announcement to the world. Humanity was about to learn the terrible truth. They were not the masters of Earth. They never had been. They were created by beings who had simply been away for a while, and now those beings wanted their planet back. The broadcast reached every screen on Earth at the same time. Televisions, computers, phones, even electronic billboards in city streets. There was no way to turn it off. Kalitha's face appeared everywhere, speaking in every language simultaneously. People of Earth, we must tell you the truth about who we are and where we come from. For 12 minutes, Kalith explained everything. How the Inheritors had evolved on Earth millions of years ago. How they had genetically engineered the ancestors of humanity before going into stasis. How they had returned to claim what they believed was rightfully theirs. We invoke the Inheritance Clause, Kalith declared. As the original architects of Earth's current life, as the creators of your evolutionary path, we have the right to return home. We do not come as invaders. We come as the rightful owners of this world. Riots broke out in every major city. Some people refused to believe it. Others fell into despair. Many wanted to fight even if it meant certain death. President Yoon Song called an emergency meeting at the United Nations. Military commanders, scientists, and world leaders gathered in the massive conference room. Miho stood at the front, exhausted and terrified. Security Minister Jin Ho-on slammed his fist on the table. We must attack Mars now. Destroy their settlement before they can establish themselves further. General Saman Nam shook her head bitterly. She displayed images of Earth's defense systems on the large screens. Every system showed red warning lights. Attack with what? They control everything. Our missiles, our satellites, our nuclear weapons. They can shut down our power grids, our hospitals, our water treatment plants. If we attack, millions of civilians will die from the chaos alone. So we just surrender? On shouted. What choice do we have? Someone else asked. Miho stepped forward. There's something else you need to know. Something worse. He nodded to Hannah, who displayed genetic charts on the screens. We've been studying human DNA more carefully. We found hidden sequences like switches built into our genes. The Inheritors put them there millions of years ago. What do these switches do? President Song asked quietly. They can change how our brains work, Hannah explained, her voice shaking. The Inheritors can activate them remotely. If they do, humans will become obedient, compliant. We'll lose our will to resist. It's a failsafe they built into us in case we ever refuse to accept their authority. The room fell into stunned silence. Then it's over, General Nam said. We can't fight them. Even if we tried, they could just flip a switch and turn us into slaves. No, Miho said firmly. There's hope. Listen to me. He pulled up more genetic data. These switches are 375 million years old. That's a very long time. Evolution doesn't stop. Random mutations happen. Our DNA has changed from what they originally designed. I've analyzed these genetic switches carefully. They're degraded, broken in places. They might work on some people but not on others. Maybe not on most people. You're saying we can resist the programming? Song asked. I'm saying we might be able to. But there's no guarantee. And even if we can resist, fighting them would be catastrophic. They control our infrastructure. Billions of people depend on systems they can shut down. The casualties would be unimaginable. Taeyang, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. What if we negotiate? Not surrender but find a compromise. They don't want compromise, On said. They want Earth. Miho stared at the genetic charts, thinking hard. An idea was forming in his mind. A dangerous, desperate idea. Maybe they do want compromise. They just don't know it yet. What do you mean? Song asked. They think they have all the power. They think we're helpless. But what if we show them that we're willing to destroy everything rather than surrender? What if we threaten to make Earth worthless to both species? You're talking about mutually assured destruction, General Nam said. I'm talking about survival, Miho replied. The Inheritors programmed us to be intelligent and determined. They gave us the will to survive at any cost. Maybe they programmed us too well. Maybe we evolved something they never intended us to have. What's that? Hannah asked. Free will, Miho said. The ability to choose death over slavery. They created us to be their obedient children, but we became something else. Something that would rather burn the world down than live on our knees. President Song looked at him for a long moment. You want to threaten them with planetary suicide. I want to negotiate as equals, Miho corrected. And the only way to do that is to prove we're willing to destroy what they want most. Earth itself. Miho traveled alone to the International Space Station. Caliph had agreed to meet him there in neutral territory. Through the windows, Earth hung like a blue jewel against the darkness of space. Miho wondered if this would be the last time he saw it as humanity's home. Caliph arrived precisely on time. The tall being moved gracefully through the station's corridors, his luminescent skin glowing softly in the artificial light. He looked confident, almost amused. You've come to accept our terms? Caliph said. No, Miho replied. I've come to give you new terms. Caliph raised his head slightly, intrigued. Go on. Miho activated a holographic display showing Earth's ecosystems, power grids, and nuclear facilities. You made a mistake. A big one. You let us evolve for 375 million years. That's too long. We're not the obedient children you designed anymore. Your genetic switches are degraded, yes, we know. But they still work on enough humans to make resistance pointless. Maybe, Miho said. But you made us too smart. Too determined. You gave us survival instincts and the intelligence to use them. You taught us to adapt and overcome. And now we've adapted to you. Miho pulled up technical schematics. For the past month, 5,000 scientists have been working in secret. We've studied your technology. We understand it now. And we've created something you didn't expect. What? For the first time, Caliph sounded uncertain. Protocol scorched Earth. If you don't accept our terms, we destroy everything. Every nuclear reactor goes critical. Every ecological system shuts down. Every terraforming project stops. We poison the oceans, burn the forests, and contaminate the atmosphere. Earth becomes a dead world in 10 years. Caliph stared at him. You're bluffing. Humanity wouldn't commit suicide. Wouldn't we? Miho stepped closer. You programmed us to survive at any cost. You gave us determination and courage. But you forgot something important. You gave us free will. Real free will. And beings with true free will would rather die free than live as slaves. That's insane. That's humanity, Miho said coldly. We've done insane things throughout our history. We've fought wars we couldn't win. We've made last stands against impossible odds. We've chosen death over surrender countless times. It's part of who we are. Maybe it's something you accidentally programmed into us. Or maybe it's something we evolved on our own. Either way, it's real. Kaleth was silent for a long moment. What are your terms? Simple. You can settle on Earth but as equals, not as owners. We create a joint government. Equal representation. Equal rights. We share the planet, share resources, share decision-making. You get to come home. We get to keep our freedom. Both species survive. And if we refuse? Miho pulled up a countdown timer on his display. Then in 72 hours, Protocol Scorched Earth activates. One command from the Security Council and it begins. Irreversible. Unstoppable. Earth dies and both our species lose everything. You would actually do this, Kaleth said, and it wasn't a question anymore. He could see the truth in Miho's eyes. We already have the systems in place, Miho lied smoothly. All it takes is one signal. The choice is yours. Coexistence or mutual destruction. Kaleth turned to look at Earth through the window. For a long time he said nothing. Finally he spoke quietly. We underestimated what 375 million years of evolution would create. We thought we were bringing home obedient children. Instead we found something we never programmed. Beings willing to destroy themselves rather than submit. Is that a yes? It's an acknowledgement of reality, Kaleth said. Perhaps coexistence is possible after all. The negotiations took 6 months. The final treaty established the Dual Species Governance Council. Earth would be shared territory. Both species would have equal say in all decisions. It wasn't perfect, but it was survival. Miho stood with Hana on the observation deck of the new council headquarters in Tokyo. Below them, human and inheritor workers built the joint embassy together. Do you think it will last? Hana asked. I don't know, Miho admitted. We're living with beings who think they created us. They're living with creations who refuse to obey. It's unstable. What scares me most, Hana said quietly, is wondering what else they hid in our DNA. What other switches are waiting? What other surprises? Miho didn't answer because he wondered the same thing every day. Far away in deep space, the ancient Inheritor vessel still orbited that lonely planet. Inside its databases were secrets humanity hadn't discovered yet. Complete records of everything the Inheritors had engineered into human DNA. Not just obedience switches. Something far more complex. Something that would only activate when humanity reached a certain level of technology. A final failsafe. One that would ensure the Inheritors' survival even if it meant transforming humanity into something else entirely. Something no longer human. And every day, with every advancement, humanity moved closer to triggering it. The countdown had already begun. Neither species knew it yet, but the real test was still coming. The Inheritors had planned for everything. Even their own failure.